Right. So today we are going to be talking. Oh man, there we go. Today we're going to be talking about foreign and domestic policy. So one thing you need to know is the difference between foreign and domestic policy. This is really important. Foreign policy is the United States plans for dealing with other countries. So the other 200 countries in the world, how do we deal with them? That's called foreign policy. So war, diplomacy, trade, anything like that. Domestic policy, your domicile is your home. You're a domesticated animal is an animal that lives in your home. Domestic policies are planned for dealing with the issues within our country. Nothing having to do with other countries. So education or jobs or healthcare or raising the minimum wage, that's domestic policy as opposed to foreign policy where we deal with other countries. So make sure you know that difference. It's very important. Okay, so what is the United States goals with foreign policy? There's 5. One is national security, protecting us from enemies in other countries. One is promoting peace, trying to avoid war with us and other countries and other countries with each other. To spread democracy across the world, because that's a very important part of our country. Promoting trade to help our economy and to help others' economy, and then providing aid to countries, to poorer countries, to countries in need, countries who are suffering from natural disasters or poverty. So these are our main goals in our foreign policy. Okay, so who creates foreign policy? Foreign policy is created by the president and the executive branch and Congress. A lot of the things the president can do, Congress has checks on it. So, for example, the president can sign treaties, Congress has to ratify. The Senate has to ratify. The president gets to appoint the Secretary of State and ambassadors. The Senate has to ratify or confirm them. Okay, so like I was saying, the president signs treaties. He appoints ambassadors that work with other countries. He appoints the Secretary of State, which is his main person that helps him deal with other countries. He's the chief diplomat, meaning he meets with foreign leaders to talk policy. He is the commander-in-chief of our military, and he can send troops into battle. Okay, a lot of the checks that Congress has on the president are the Senate. The Senate gets to ratify treaties. The Senate gets to ratify the ambassador, or not ratify, really should say confirm the ambassadors and Secretary of State. The Congress gets to declare war and provide money for foreign aid and military. Okay, so here's a vocab word that you need to know, so make sure you write this down. The Secretary of State is a member of the president's cabinet, and he is the chief advisor to the president on all foreign policy. So besides the president, this is probably the most important single person in our government dealing with foreign policy with other countries. And this person is appointed by the president and confirmed by the Senate. Okay, who else helps the president with foreign policy? Secretary of State, the Secretary of Defense is in charge of our military. The CIA, National Security Council, helps us gather intelligence on other countries. Okay, so here's a really important vocab word, diplomacy. This is building relationships around the world, trying to avoid conflict. You try and build a good relationship. The people who are responsible for doing that are called ambassadors. We have ambassadors to almost every country in the world. The president chooses these people, the Senate confirms them, and they are sent to foreign countries to help build relationships. So we have an ambassador to Japan and England, and they go to those countries, they live in those countries, and they help build diplomacy between the United States and those countries. And if we have an issue, a conflict, a disagreement, one of the first places we go is our ambassadors to talk to those foreign leaders. Okay, so the president can sign treaties, and then they're approved by the Senate. A treaty is a formal agreement between 2 or more countries. A lot of times it's like a peace treaty. 2 countries at war, and we sign a peace treaty to end the war. But the president signs the treaties. You see President Obama signing the treaty here, and then it's approved by the Senate. Okay, NATO. This is one of our alliances. Our alliances are our friends that help us. NATO is a military alliance between the United States, Canada, and European countries. It's a military alliance, and we agreed that if any of those countries are attacked, we would go to war to support them. Okay, another tool that we have in dealing with foreign policy is foreign aid. The United States gives over $35 billion. That was in 2013, so it's probably safe to say over $40 billion a year to other countries to provide them military assistance, supplies, money, food. This is a very important foreign policy tool we have because it helps us build good relationships with other countries, and it's also kind of a weapon we have because if a country is not doing what we want, we can threaten to take that foreign aid away. But this is to help people with poverty and disease and to protect against military invasion. So you see a lot of money going to protect HIV and to help them farm, to help poverty and starvation, and to help make the world and countries a better place. All right, another foreign policy tool we have are trades. We sign trade deals with countries to agree to trade goods, and we're the United States and we have a huge economy, so everyone wants to trade with us. And so that is another foreign policy tool, is allowing who we trade with. All right, another one is called sanctions. The United States can place sanctions on a country which hurts their economy. It stops us from trading with them or other countries from trading with them or fining them. For example, we have sanctions on Iran and North Korea, trying to prevent them to get nuclear weapons. And this is a big deterrent because it can really crush another country's economy if the United States sanctions them. So if a country's doing something we don't like, we could try and sign a treaty. We could, send them foreign aid. We could work with our allies. We could also sanction them to try and punish them, basically, to stop doing what we don't like. And then the last option is military force. So if a country's not doing something we like, again, we could work with our allies. We could sign a treaty. We could threaten their foreign aid. We could sanction their economy. The last option is military force. That's always the last option. Okay, and then this just talks about how foreign affairs can affect domestic policy. So, for example, when 9/11 happened, that was foreign affairs, terrorists in other countries attacking us, and then that had a huge impact on domestic, what's going on in this country with security and things like that. Okay, so that's it. So make sure you know the difference between foreign and domestic policy, who does foreign policy, and then our goals and tools of foreign policy. Thanks for joining me.